Hello everyone, for my Teach Anything video, I'm going to teach you the basics of snowboarding. The first part is learning how to strap in your boots. So once it's in the binding, you take this side and crank it with this little tab. And you want to make sure it's as tight as it can go or until it feels good on your foot. And do that with each side. So once you know how to strap in your boots, now you can learn how to get to the ski lift. So I ride regular, which means my left foot goes forward, and so I will have my right foot unstrapped. And then how to skate is you put your right foot backwards and you can just push off and go with the board. Sometimes people go on the front of the board. I just think it's more comfortable to go behind, but you can do whichever one feels best for you. And then you'll get on the lift like that, and then once you're going to go get off the lift, you'll put your line up your board with the hill, and then put your foot that's unstrapped right next to your binding, so that way you can control it once you get off. So now that you know how to get to the ski lift and get off, now you can learn how to control the board going down the hill. So you want to make sure that your knees are bent and your shoulders are pointed to where you want to go. And there's heel side, which is back on your heels and lifting up your toes, and then toe side, which is going forward on your toes and lifting up your heels. So we're going to start by showing you heel side. I think that's the easiest. That's what I learned first, and it really helped me with how to stop and then how to transition into toe side. So again, that's leaning back on your heels and just lifting up your toes. So if you're going down the hill and my left foot is forward, you'll take your left foot and bend that back first until you start to curve a little bit, and then you'll take your right foot and bend it back also. So kind of like that. So next we'll learn toe side. Again, that's just leaning up on your toes. And it's more of just bending your legs and leaning your hips forward rather than your whole body. A lot of times if you move your whole body forward, then you'll just fall. So for that one, again, my left foot is forward. So you'll take your left foot and lean on your toes, and then your right foot will follow and your board will switch. That's pretty much it. Once you've got heel side and toe side down, then you can snowboard pretty well, and it's just muscle memory usually, so you'll just get the hang of it after a while, and it takes a little bit. Usually people fall a lot at first, but once you get it, then it's really fun. And for a snowboard for beginners, usually people want to get, it's called a true twin, which is what this board is actually. It's perfectly symmetrical and the edges are rounded, and that works really good for beginners. A couple more tips for your boots. You want to make sure that you lace them as tight as you can. A lot of times, if they're not laced correctly or if they're too loose, then your ankles can move around in your boot, and it'll be a lot harder to control your board when you're going down the hill. Some safety stuff when you're cutting, you always want to make sure and look in front of you and behind you before you cut, just to make sure that you don't hit anybody coming down the hill super fast or anything like that. And if you fall, you're not really supposed to try to catch yourself with your hands. People can break their wrists and stuff a lot that way, and falls can be pretty bad, so I would say bring a helmet. You can also use goggles if you'd like. A lot of times if it's snowing and you have goggles, it's a lot better to see going down the hill because you can get going pretty fast. And if that gets in your eyes, then it can be a little hard to see. Or if snow gets kicked up when you fall or by another snowboarder or skier, that can help with that as well. Also, another thing that helps is if you wax the bottom of your board. It'll help you go faster, and it'll just be a smoother ride down the hill. There's also a lot of different kinds of bindings. The ones that I have on this board are just like the standard ones, but there's some where the backs come out and you can just slide your foot in. Those ones are pretty cool, and they're a lot easier. There's also like magnetic ones where it'll just like stomp onto your boot and click. Those ones are pretty cool too. There is a lot of different kinds of snowboards. Like I said, for a beginner, you'd want to use the true twin board, which is symmetrical. There's also different boards for powder and the terrain park, so if you feel comfortable using those, then you could try that out, but that's about it. And now you know how to snowboard.